All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, our two great kings, the gods that the King James Bible speaks of, which again, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world of ignorance calls Christ. True name is Yahweh Shai. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar and on down, that rule and teach well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short lesson, or however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai allows it to go. And I want to name the video More News on the Prisons. All right. And Lord Will's brothers can see on the screen the inspiration for this lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai comes from this article that I have here. And the title of the article reads, ICE reveals $38 billion plan for immigration mega jail. All right. It says ICE is prepared to spend $38 billion this year on a new detention center model that will hold nearly 100,000 people. Why it matters. Expanding immigration and detentions is a major part of the deportation pipeline and will fuel President Trump's pledge to deport millions of people. But the plans are facing local pushback. Driving the news, ICE is going on a buying spree for warehouse spaces, estimated to cost $38.3 billion out of the $45 billion from the One Big Beautiful Bill passed last year. All right, yeah, and there was a whole lot of stuff in that bill, and now it turns out that the money, some of the money in that bill is going to be used for this. All right, that bill being passed was for things like this. And who else knows fully what else was in the bill? You know, the bill was, pretty big. It was a bunch of pages. All right, but yeah, some of the budget in that, the budget for that bill, all right, is being used to build these ICE detention centers, which they're not going to be used for immigrants. You know, some immigrants, they're not just going to be used for just immigrants. They're also going to put American citizens in there as well. All right, a lot of these people that they're arresting or putting to death, they've been Americans. All right, they're kidnapping and putting in the back of cars and questioning them and then throwing them down the street 10 miles from where they picked them up at. All right, they was Americans. All right, so they're going to put Americans in these centers. All right, not just so-called illegals. They're going to put Americans in these centers as well. It says a ICE memo shared with the New Hampshire government office on Thursday states that it plans to buy non-traditional facilities built specifically to support ICE needs. ICE plans to buy 8 mega centers, 16 processing centers, and 10 more facilities that ICE enforcement divisions already use. The memo was released hours after a Senate hearing where Senator Maggie Hassan, it's like I pronounced that wrong, questioned the acting ICE director about his plans to expand immigration detention in her home state. The Washington Post first reported on the memo. By the numbers across all new buildings, DHS plans to have for 92,600 people, according to the memo. The processing center will accommodate between 1,000 to 1,500 people for 3 and 7 days, according to the memo. The large facility will hold 7,000 or 10,000 people for about 60 days on average. And will be, and if brothers ever been or worked at one of them distribution centers, they're not built for comfort. Whatever it is outside, that's what it is inside. If it's hot outside, it's going to be hot inside. If it's super cold outside, it's going to be super cold inside. All right, so they're not built for comfort, and you better believe they ain't putting no ACs or nothing in there. Ain't gonna be nothing in there but cages. All right. It's like okay, only 21 of the 220 current ICE detention centers hold more than 1,000 people, according to ICE data. The largest detention site currently operating in El Paso, Texas, it held less than 3,000 on average in the first week of February. DHS also gave New Hampshire Governor Kelly, I don't know how to pronounce his last name or his last name, an economic impact analyst memo that estimates that the agency would spend 300 million retrofitting and operating the facility in Merrimack in the first 3 years. In its first 3 years, DHS is also estimating that it will support 1,252 new jobs in the area. The memo explains that ICE's new strategy is to own detention sites and hire contractors to operate them, as opposed to leasing privately owned spaces for companies whose profit have ballooned over the last year. These facilities will ensure that the safe, human silver detentions of aliens in the ICE custody, helping ICE mass deportations, the memo said. The bottom line, these facilities are already deeply unpopular. Community members and local election officials have also pushed back across the country at local meetings and with demonstrations. All right, so they're going to be all over the place. New Hampshire, Virginia, all right, from coast to coast, from north, south, east to the west. All right. And again, the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. All right. Through the Spirit and Bobby Al-Bashim Yahushai. Warned about this, has been warning about this for a very long time. All right. And you can't say you didn't know, because the prophets have been telling you. But the majority of you chose not to take heed. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a family and two of a city, and two of a family, Salakia, and I will bring you to Zion, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which should feed you with knowledge and understanding. Which those pastors are the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the only ones that speak about martial law. All right, these re-education camps or these detention centers, all right, or these concentration camps, which a lot of the other camps said that it's fairy tales. All right, that's what's the word? Conspiracy theories. All right, and all those things, but now they're happening. But again, in the past, the only ones that were speaking about this were the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the brothers ranking on down. All right, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, I was warning you about this years ago, about martial law takeover, about concentration camps. All right, and things like that. Which again, a lot of other camps said it was silly. That ain't gonna happen. Some camps said Jacob's trouble wasn't gonna happen. All right, some camps said Jacob's trouble already happened. All right, so yeah, the pastors that the Lord set up are the elders and apostles of Great Millstone to warn you, Jakes, all right, about these times, these perilous and troubling times that we're in. All right. It's Revelation chapter 2, verse 10. This is Lord Yahweh Shah speaking. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Which some of the elect may go into these detention camps, but the Lord is going to be there for them and deliver them out of them. All right. But that proves that like the Lord Yahweh said, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. And what was the Lord talking about? He's talking about these camps, these concentration camps, or these detention centers. All right? Because again, this is aimed at so-called illegal immigrants. All right? Code word Northern Kingdom, which that's who they're coming after right now. But ultimately, they're going to come down with wrath on all the tribes. All right? All the tribes are going to be put in these camps. All right? But this is what the Lord was warning about. These are the prisons that the Lord was talking about. All right? Again, they're spending 38 billion. 38 with a B. Really, it's what, 45 billion. All right? The budget in the big, beautiful bill, all right, the budget can afford 45 billion to build these detention centers. All right, I'm curious to know. Let's set this on real quick.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act had 1,116 pages in its House version. Other estimates during the legislative process varied, ranging from roughly 870 to over 1,000 pages.
Right, so over 1,000 pages. And who knows what all else was put in there? Nobody ain't go through all of them and read them, man. They just put that shit in there. And he got to sign off on. And this is some of the stuff. The budget for the big beautiful bill is paying for funding. All right, these detention camps. All right, and to hire more troops or more put more people in the streets, which ultimately we know they got Gurkha troops in the wait, or they'll just bring in the blue helmets. All right, to handle the situation. All right, because a lot of these ICE agents are, tucking tail and running because they're saying we ain't signed up for this, man. All right, so we know ultimately they got the Gurkha troops, or again the blue helmets or whatever you want to call them. All right, waiting. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and safety to you, brothers, that push this truth and sincerity. With that, I'm going to say shalom.